Hi everyone, I'm America Josh and welcome to Travel Updates with Travel Elias from Liberty Travel. G'day Elias, how are you?
G'day, Josh. How are you?
Oh mate, that is, I think you've smashed it. You've been sitting there
Been
practicing,
practicing.
absolutely no doubt. Absolutely. How are you going? How coping with heading into the holiday season? We're only a couple of days out now.
Yeah, I can't believe we've made it this far. We were just talking. It's been 11 months now as us in the travel industry. It's been since January because we were sending people to Asia even before it came to the US with all this
Yeah.
COVID stuff. And now we're sitting upstate New York with 36 inches of snow now. I don't know if you guys have that much down there, but
It's looking pretty thawed right now. Actually, looking outside, we've got a couple of spots. So wow, it's cold still. How's in general? Just so I understand, or so everyone understands, how busy are you right now? Are things really ramping up, or is it things settle down when it gets really close to Christmas and the holidays?
well, generally January through April is our busiest time of the year. I mean,
Okay.
three times busier than any other time of the year. But obviously with COVID, everything's a little hit and miss. We're dealing with a lot of cancellations, unfortunately. We're still dealing with a lot of bookings for people that need to go back to Australia. But now at this point, once people see the snow on the ground, they're also looking to go on vacation. So it's a little bit of everything at this point.
Well, right into that, you're just talking about people going to Australia, and I wanted to have a chat. We always talk about the East Coast and people getting back over there, and to my beloved hometown, Adelaide. What about the West Coast, getting back to Perth? How are things looking for people getting back to Perth?
So Perth is a little tougher to get to. Obviously, the big cities on the East Coast are a little bit easier. It's not easy at all for the most part, but Perth is a little bit tougher because there are only specific airlines that do that route from the East Coast of the U.S. with one stop, and that's Qatar and Cathay Pacific 99% of the time. So if you're going to Perth and you want to fly right into Perth, it's going to be one of those two options. If you go over the West Coast of the U.S., make a stop in L.A., your first stop is on over when in Australia is probably going to be Sydney, which means you'll have to quarantine for the 2 weeks in Sydney before you can fly to Perth. So if you want to get right into Perth, start your quarantine there, Qatar or Cathay Pacific.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's a really important tip to make sure people understand that you do quarantine wherever you arrive in Australia. So as you said, a lot of people get there and don't expect that they'll have to get off the plane, start quarantining for 2 weeks, and then do your transfer internally, which can really slow things down.
Yeah, I just had a question actually. Somebody's just said, "Hey, my grandmother has a flat with a open apartment. Can I quarantine there?" I said, "No."
I wish. That would be the dream. You'd get a big place with a balcony and do that. No, it's all hotel quarantine, and it's not up to you when you land. On that, with airlines, having all these bookings and you being really busy, are airlines keeping schedules? Are they keeping bookings, or are we seeing a lot of changes still?
We talked a little bit about this last week, and you definitely, especially with the snow, especially this being so last minute now, especially being so busy for travel, specifically to Australia in December and January, there's going to be a lot of changes with flights, whether it be schedule changes that are minor or cancellations that are moving your flights 2 or 3 days. You got to be really adamant on checking that app, checking with your agent, checking on the website to make sure your flights haven't been moved. We do our best to obviously keep our customers in the know, but we have thousands of tickets out there. So just yourself as well, check, because right now, unfortunately, they are making some moves where they are moving people's flights from the 26th to the 29th, which could obviously hinder the amount of time you're being able to spend with your family. It's going to extend your quarantine and all that kinds of stuff. So definitely check for flight delays, cancellations, and those things.
Okay, so we're seeing that airlines are basically just having to reshuffle, people and bookings. Is that why we're seeing delays?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of airline kind of doing their airline thing. Air New Zealand, which has been one of our go-tos, and we continue to sell them. They're a really good airline. They've specifically been moving flights in Auckland to non-quarantine flights, which means that if you haven't been in Auckland for 14 days, you cannot get on this flight. So they randomly kind of choose. For us, it's random. For them, they probably have a science to it.
Sure.
We've chosen this particular flight to be a non-quarantine flight, which means because you're coming from the US, you cannot be on this flight anymore. Here's your other option. And that option can be days difference. So obviously it could make a difference in work. You can make a difference in just being able to travel
Life.
in and out.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for the people that might not be leaving this year, so for the ones that are planning on getting back to Australia early next year in sort of January, February, March, but a lot of the people that you and I speak to don't know exactly when they're going to be coming back to the States, so they might have to go through visa processes, or they just want to make sure they've got time for quarantine and family. What advice do you have for them if they want to, make their bookings now in advance for the next year?
So I would definitely recommend for people that don't know, and if you do know when you're going to come back, book your ticket. Most people do not. Most people say, hey, I'm going to come back in July. Hey, it might be September. Hey, I'm going to work out this visa thing, and then I'll figure out when to go home. But if you book your return ticket and you decide to change it, they're probably going to charge you a fee or a fare difference. So if you're leaving in January, February, March, and you realize your round trip ticket's $4,000 or $5,000, and say you're coming back in September, why don't we just book you a one-way ticket home, save you half your money, and then when things hopefully get better with the vaccine and with it being a little bit of a lull in travel out into the summer and fall months, then we can buy you a one-way ticket back home. Us specifically at Flight Center, we have contracts where sometimes you'll see it online and a one-way ticket home might be $3,000, $4,000. We do have some contracts that'll get you some really good rates on one-way tickets. Shout out to Elizabeth Harding. I booked her just last night. Same exact scenario. We saved her about $1,300 in the long run here.
Fantastic, because that's something that I would never, back before all this started, a one-way ticket was sort of that thing that you never touch and you're always told they're never worth it. So it really is because right now, you're paying as little as possible because it's not paying for a return flight. But with the idea that as things ease up and become a bit easier down the track, it's going to be cheaper.
99% of the time, I would never ask you to book 2 one-way tickets. You just end up paying more. But because the rates are so high right now, they're probably going to go down in September or October travel when you can come back home.
Yeah, no, got it. And absolutely great tip. Elias, mate, thank you very much for a fantastic few months of videos. And, as you head into the holidays, I hope you get some time off and get to enjoy and take care of yourself while you're taking care of all these other people traveling all over the world.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Fantastic. Thanks, Elias. We'll see you next year.